What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Slither, written and directed by James Gunn. Now, Slither tells the story of this worm-like alien creature that comes crash landing down to Earth and pretty much infects this small town. So that's the overall basic premise of Slither. How is this movie? Well, I remember seeing this movie when it first came out, and I kind of, sort of liked it, thought it was okay. This movie came out when I was, I think, 16 years old. That was like 2006. So it didn't really leave much of an impression on me. I never really went back to it after that one time that I saw it. Now, fast forward, what, 14 years later, now I'm rewatching this movie with a more adult oriented mind, and I gotta say, I think Slither is really, really funny. I think this movie is really, really enjoyable. And I like seeing James Gunn, he's famous now for the Guardians movies, but I like seeing the early work, the early rise of James Gunn. And Slither to me is shows the sensibilities that James Gunn has as a director and as a writer. This is a really smartly written movie with a lot of humor. This movie is really, really, really funny, and James Gunn does a great job at balancing the over the top humor with the over the top gore. This movie, picture John Carpenter's The Thing, only with a more comedic edge to it and just a little bit more gross. That's Slither. Slither is pretty much James Gunn's unofficial remake of The Thing, only it's his interpretation of it. And that's the best description I can give Slither. Now, in terms of quality, I think The Thing is a better movie, but for what Gunn did with Slither, this is a fun movie. So, first off, the cast in this movie is really, really good. You know, we have Nathan Fillion, Elizabeth Banks, and Michael Rooker and Greg Henry, and all four of those guys did a really, really good job in this movie. Michael Rooker plays Grant, who is pretty much the host of this alien life form, and he's married to this girl named Starla, who the Nathan Fillion character known as Bill, who is the police sheriff, happens to like slash be in love with. So he gets infected by this alien life form, and his personality slowly starts to change. Until we eventually see him later on in the movie, and he becomes like this human-sized alien slug, monstrous looking, and it looks gnarly. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. It looks gnarly, and it looks kind of cool, and that design instantly reminds me of John Carpenter's The Thing and how that creature looks, and I enjoyed it, but only in this one. This one is more or less a human transforming into the Thing, and not the Thing taking over a human as a way to hide its true form. But it looks gnarly, it looks gross, and I like it. I like it a lot. And this motherfucker is vicious. It like whips a guy and it splits him in half. So yeah, and all of that, the character of Grant to me, I like Michael Rooker as an actor, and I actually enjoyed him as the character of Grant. Like, at first, you think you're gonna hate this guy and think he's a sleaze when he starts to cheat on his wife, but he ends up not doing so. And even in his alien form, he still loves his wife and wants to be with his wife. So it's kind of like a demented Beauty and the Beast love story type thing between Grant and his wife. It's kind of hilarious, but I don't think James Gunn really got enough mileage out of that because like, okay, this is getting kind of stupid, but I'm interested. Even in slug alien form, he still loves his wife. It's good stuff, and it's actually the wife Starla who's able to get to Grant in certain scenes and try to kind of get into his head a little bit, especially when Grant starts to take over the entire town with when the alien slugs get in through their mouths, and you have everyone trying to cover their mouths. Kind of reminds you of the bug of the beer bug that's been going on lately. Cover your mouths and all that garbage. So yeah, I think all that stuff is good. I like Nathan Fillion as an actor. I've always enjoyed Nathan Fillion as an actor. I've always liked his sense of humor, and I like him in this movie. Nathan Fillion, he's a good leading man for a movie like this. His character is really, really likable, and it already flat out says that he has feelings for Starla, and they have a past, pretty much. But the movie doesn't really fully explain what that past is. I would like to know more of the past between of between Bill and Starlight. The movie teases and hints at it a little bit, and nothing really comes out of it because the two of them don't even share like a kiss at the end of the movie. Like you've been building up this relationship throughout the movie, and you don't even let Bill get his woman in the end. To me, that is. Um, but to me, the real star of this movie is Greg Henry as Jack McCready. Speaking of John Carpenter's The Thing, McCready, a nice reference to The Thing. But I think Greg Henry as Jack McCready, who is the town mayor, I think he's absolutely hysterical. I love his asshole humor, but he also, to me, comes across as kind of likable. And there's this one scene where they're all in a police car and the shit's just hit the fan. And he's like, your secretary forgot to pack the Pib Cola. That's the only soda that I drink. Then he goes on a tirade and he says, at least you could have done is pack the Pep soda. I think Greg Henry in this movie was downright hilarious. All the scenes he's in, to me, he steals it. And I was kind of bummed out when they killed him off because I would have liked to have seen Greg Henry go to the end of the movie. Instead you have this other girl named Kylie who gets attacked by the alien slug, but she's able to fight it off. And by so doing so, she kind of like absorbs the history of the slug and what it's done throughout the galaxy. And Kylie joins the little group of heroes in their fight to save humanity in a way. You know, she's a cool character. You know, she doesn't really do much. To tell you the truth, I would have just given the whole I can see who these slugs are. I would have given all that to Starla instead, because I could have written Callie out and just keep Jack alive. Kylie was kind of unnecessary, and the whole subplot with her family trying to kill her, it's whatever. It's whatever. It's just there for horror effect. Which this movie does have a lot of. This movie is very, very humorous, but also has some good horror directed scenes as well. You know, it can be scary in a couple of areas, but it's always got a sense of humor to it. It's got a sense of fun to it, and that's what I really like about Slither. Is that this is a fun, gory, loving tribute to the old B sci-fi horror monster movies, and it's a nice. And it's also a loving tribute to John Carpenter's The Thing, with all the homages to that movie and stuff like that. But I think overall, Slither is a good movie, good science fiction horror flick. It's a good James Gunn movie. It's got good writing. It's got solid directing, good production value. The look of the monster, the look of the alien slug is just downright gross and awesome. So yeah, despite a couple of flaws, I'm gonna give The Slither a solid 8 out of 10. I enjoyed this movie. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.